We're at the Texas Tech Talk with my bro. Oh, it's loading. Oh, there we go.
There we go. We're good.
We're live. Joshua, we are in person.
Yes.
Oh, look, he's right there.
We're in my man cave.
We're in the man cave with all the sweet Titanfall 2s.
It's cavey goodness.
Star Wars, Mass Effect, Star Wars,
And my
Logan.
and my sweet
Oh, look at this. Joshua
sweet
14.
show. It's really about on Joshua 14's channel.
Which is awesome. So we have all kinds of goodness happening right now, and we're excited to. Whoa, they're autofocus. There we go.
We're focusing.
C920's like, well, just two people. How do I work with this? So we're going live here to talk some tech talking. So we're gonna start out here. Kind of something that made me scratching my head, which I was a little bit confused when they announced this. LG, the V30 is a nice phone, and then they did the V30 Plus on Sprint to add some extraness. And then they're like, you know what, Josh? You know how we really can get people? We're going to make the LG V30s ThinQ. What? Why? So they decided to basically throw up all the words. It would help if I did that. There we go. They decided to throw up all the words to get that. And here we go. Look at this. So it's basically a clone of its predecessor with a smarter camera. So, okay, first of all, what we got to say is this color looks boss. It's a Moroccan blue, whatever that means. But I'm feeling that color. This is basically a Joel color I've ever seen. But there's the V30s ThinQ. It's ridiculous. But basically what you're getting here is you are getting 2 gig. Instead of 4 gigs of RAM, you're getting 6 gigs of RAM. Instead of 128 gigs of storage, you're getting 256. You're getting a new AI, the IM, a new visual platform that'll basically update the app. But here's the thing. It's actually coming to the normal V30. So you're not really getting anything extra with that side. But they also partnered with Amazon, so you can take pictures of things to actually buy it, which is kind of interesting. But there's the most interesting to me was they added a new bright mode in the camera in the manual mode. So it actually condenses pixels with the main shooter to a smaller image, but has a better exposure. So those things are actually coming to the regular V30. So the biggest thing you're getting is you're getting a new color. Woo! And you are getting the new color, and then you're getting the
Extra RAM, and they also
storage.
bumped up the storage to 256 on the top end. So instead of 128, you're getting 256.
So something different. The AI camera app in that bright mode. So nothing crazy, nothing overtly bonkers. But I think they knew the new S9 Plus was coming out. They knew the new S9 was coming out. So they're like, we got to pump something out here. But
But it's the same size as the V30 regular, not the V30 Plus, because the V30 Plus was like 6 inches, right?
No, they're both the same. They're all the same.
Oh.
So there was no size difference between the regular, the Plus. The Plus, the only thing that was different on the Plus was it had a different DAC in it.
Oh. Okay.
And more storage.
Okay. But maybe that means that the V30 will be cheaper now. Maybe it'll be down to like 350.
So the regular V30 was 64 gigs. The V30 Plus was 128 and then had a different DAC in it. And then the S ThinQ has 256 and more RAM. So take your pick. You have 3 versions now. I'm thinking about, hey, I still have my V20. Maybe a regular V30 is going to be like $400 now instead of like 700 or 800. Maybe it'll drop way down, or the V30 Plus with the more storage. So who knows? Maybe we got some more options here, but
beats me. Beats me. But LG, man, they're doing their thing.
They're doing their thing. Unfortunately, LG is kind of at a point where they're kind of struggling for air, and so apparently the G7 isn't going to be called the G7. They're going to kind of rebrand. So we'll see what they do. But speaking of options, what a Ryzen, what do they got for us here?
Yes, so recently AMD just came out with 2 new CPUs they're not saying it's Ryzen 2. They're saying it's just basically the next iteration of the 1200 and the 1400, but it's actually the 2000 series. So we have the 2200G, which is replacing the 1200. But the difference between the G and the not G is the addition of a GPU, which that's what the G is standing for. And so the 2200G's got 8 compute units, and the 2400G has 11, which basically the GPU clock speeds there, 1100 megahertz for the 2200, 1240 for the 2400. And the difference in price you're going to get is $99 for the Ryzen 3,
nice,
and $169 for the Ryzen 5. Nice. Now, the cool part is that basically if you were going to buy the Ryzen 3 1200, you might as well just get this, and then you're also going to get some, you know, a GPU on there, tacked on there if you're waiting to get a GPU. But they said basically this is decent for right now, some 1080p for the 2200, but obviously basically it's mostly going to be for 720p gaming, and then the 2400G could probably handle 1080p gaming. They've done some tests. I know they've done some updates as far as the software and stuff like that. So hopefully they will keep tweaking things, because I basically heard that it was struggling to beat even like the GT 1030 from NVIDIA right off the bat. But
this is integrated.
It's integrated, so it's way beating whatever Intel has, which is basically, I'm super excited about them. Intel is working with AMD to put their Ryzen chips for APUs for integrated graphics. So if we have one of these, you know, graphics chips with the next Intel Coffee Lake Mobile, or whatever they're coming out with next on like a Surface, that would be amazing for mobile gaming. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because this is basically what AMD is doing on the integrated graphics side is just amazing as far as what they're able to put out there, which Intel's still lagging behind. So that's basically it. You know, it's very affordable, $99 versus you know, or 170. If you're building a system for budget for your kids or whatever, I would say go with one of these, and save yourself the money on a graphics processor for right now until the new chips come out for NVIDIA for the next 2000 series NVIDIA cards, or get yourself a cheap Ryzen or, you know, AMD card when you can get some more monies for your kiddo.
Yeah. So if you missed that, this is an integrated CPU GPU set. That's going to be super budget. So $100 and $169, and it's blowing the heck out of Intel integrated chips. So hey, that's pretty sweet. That's going to be something, like you said, for if you want to throw a box in your kid's room to play some Minecraft and some other games like that. This is going to be super cheap, super affordable, and a really cool option.
Yeah, Jay's 2 Cents recently did a benchmark of both these chips, so I would check out his channel.
Jay's 2 Cents. Awesome. Well, you know, the V30s ThinQ might be a big deal, but Samsung might have wanted to one-up that a bit, and they two-upped it with the S9 and S9 Plus, and it's pretty nice. I mean, okay, we're not seeing anything that is revolutionary or reinventing things, although they say re-innovating the smartphone is what they were saying. Yeah, Samsung. Okay. With your AR emoji, right?
Face emojis.
Yeah, you get a new face emojis. That's really what we're getting here. But let's look at here. So we'll go over to the specs page here and show you some things that are rolling with the new guys. So
lilac purple.
Look at that lilac purple. Look how beautiful. I like the coral blue. I actually really do like the lilac purple.
Hey, that owns the rose gold, bro.
It does. That's beautiful. I actually do like it. So some things we got with 5.8 inch. This still is the 18:9 aspect ratio, so the taller ratio, not as wide. 6.2 for the Plus. You're still getting the Quad HD Super AMOLED with 570 and 529 pixels per inch. You're getting a front camera that's a 1.7 aperture and 8 megapixel. Front cameras on Samsungs always look great with the Galaxy line. Rear camera, this is where it starts getting interesting. So the S9 Plus has the dual camera. The S9 does not. But the Plus has a 1.5. Well, they both have a 1.5 aperture main camera, which is crazy. And they both can do this where they change from 1.5 to 2.4. They have a mechanical switch of the aperture. So the on the actual Plus, they have a wide angle one, and then on the bottom they have a telephoto. So it gives you a little bit of different field of view, a little more zoomed in there. I'm not sure the actual millimeter type range, but it'll be more zoomed in for that. So this will be interesting. So the telephoto lens isn't as good of an aperture. It's 2.4. It's a regular, just a regular camera lens there. But they both have that crazy fast autofocus, and they both have it's dual OIS, optical image stabilization, which is cool. So they have optical 2x zoom with that telephoto lens, live focus with bokeh filters to blur, which is interesting. You can do dual capture to do the wide angle and the regular lens. So front and rear cameras, video recording. They did super slow-mo at 960 frames per second for 720. It looks good. It looks real smooth. I really liked it. Or you can do 1080 240 as well, which is still a really good slow motion. It's the new 845 chip Snapdragon, which is going to be crazy fast, which I'm looking forward to see. So 4 gigs or 6 gigs of RAM in the Plus, and they're both 64 gig models, base models. This is the last thing that kind of surprised me. They did dual stereo speaker, so they have a top facing one that's right up the front, and then a bottom facing speaker. And these are tuned by AKG. It's supposed to be the loudest speakers ever on a Galaxy model, but
which isn't saying much.
Which isn't saying much because normally they're bottom firing and they're tinny and they're not very great. But so hopefully this is a good step up. Still not going to beat out like the old boom sound or the Pixel 2 XL, the dual front facing stereo speakers.
This I didn't know. Dual audio connect 2 Bluetooth devices to play audio through the 2 devices simultaneously. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that was added in Bluetooth 5.0, I believe, that you can now have multiple people on Bluetooth, which is super nice. So yeah, so they have bundled earphones from AKG, which is pretty nice. But yeah, like it's I mean, you're getting a little bit of the same here, but it looks good. I mean, it's the infinity display. It's up to the edge, no notch. You're
still
getting
rounded corners.
Still rounded corners
still
with
lots
that.
Of glass.
Still all glass on that.
Nice and breakable.
Nice and breakable. But yeah, this is the thing, the 1.5 aperture, they're really pushing that, meaning your camera no longer has a curfew. So
I watched Marquez's MKBHD's review on it, and he said basically if you're on the auto mode, unless you're in a low light area, it won't switch to that 1.5. So you actually have to manually switch it in pro mode to get that 1.5 if you want like a ultra quick aperture. But I mean, it's still very impressive for phone tech to have a dual aperture lens for camera. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm hopefully going to check one out in store pretty quick.
Yeah. So one thing is nice is that they have a pro mode, which you can manually switch to that 1.5. You can manually switch through, your exposure, your shutter speed, all that stuff. So if you're like Josh and I, or like a camera enthusiast, you're going to want to use the pro mode, and you're going to want to use that. So they have more GIF modes and more. You can add music to GIFs. They have a lot of interesting stuff that they added. So I'm excited to check it out. Casey apparently already did a iPhone 10, a Pixel 2 XL, and S9 comparison between the 3 cameras.
Oh, nice.
But he can't release it yet because there's still an embargo.
Yeah.
He went to release it, and then he got yelled at. So he didn't release it, but like he like was like, "Yo, Samsung, I'm about to release. Is this okay?" They're like, "No, wait." So because it doesn't come out till March, and you can get pre-orders in now, but no. So it is going to run you about $700 to $800, 730 or something for the base model, and then 800 plus for the plus model. So it's going to be pretty decently priced. A lot of people are saying this could be a good time to pick up the Note 8. I mean, the Note 8 is an awesome device.
Or
and the
S8 or S8 Plus.
Yeah, you pick up an S8 Plus. You're getting an awesome camera. There's not a ton changed on here. You're going to get a better aperture with the dual cameras on the Plus. But if you just want a smaller, nice phone, get an S8, you know? But this is more of an iteration.
But the fingerprint sensor, they moved
it. Moved
it down.
It's no longer to the right where that weird spot is.
Right.
But it's still right below the camera, which isn't the best, you know.
They said it's easier on the S9 than the S9 Plus to get to it, because obviously S9 Plus you have farther to reach.
Move your finger. So, but
not polite point.
Yeah, not polite. But either way, I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be a good iteration. I'm looking forward to holding it in hand because that infinity display does look good. It does look rounded. Each iteration, they kind of make it a little smoother, a little bit better in your hand. The S7 Edge that Josh has feels really good, feels really great, and no problem. So it looks more like the S7 Edge than it did the 8. So except obviously
sweet bezels.
The bezels on the S7 Edge. It's almost exactly like the S7 Edge, but without bezels. So, but I'm totally fine with that. So moving right along, we got some new things coming from Intel. Josh, what do we got coming out from them here?
In the world of home theater PCs, if you were looking for something to put like right behind your TV and go crazy with it, if you got $800 to $1,000, this is the one you want. So Anantech.com shows off the Intel Hades Canyon NU series.
Hades, that sounds scary.
I know, it's very scary. It's super Richard scary. But you see it's very aggressive with the skull on there. And I think you can, it actually has like RGB or like light up. You can turn that off if you want. But it has a lot of inputs and outputs, which is really cool. SD card, USB 3, I think even 3.1 there, HDMI, USB-C, and then obviously mini display ports,
SD cards.
Yeah, lots and lots of stuff.
Crazy amount of I/O. A little bit better than the USB-C on those MacBooks. Am I right?
I know, right? Well, I think it's probably gonna have Thunderbolt because it's Intel, by the way. So, but the cool thing is that if you go down there, it shows the differences between the $799 and the $999, and it has the Skull Canyon, which is the older one, which had Intel Iris Pro Graphics 580 on the die with 128 megabytes of EDRAM. Well, the Hades Canyon kicks it up a huge notch by giving you RX Vega M graphics, okay? So the more expensive one, which is the i7 8809G, which is the Kaby Lake 4-core, 8-threaded, 3.1 gigahertz up to 4.2 gigahertz boost clock, which is 100 watts package TDP. So you're going to get some better boost action there. Has the RX Vega MGH, which has 24 compute units and 1063 to 1190 megahertz for the GPU, whereas the i7 8705G on the cheaper one, $800, is 65 watt TDP, so less boosting for that. And it only has 20 compute units for the RX Vega MGL. So, so it's basically like, you know, and it has less, I think the PPC is the performance per clock or something like that, performance per compute unit or something like that. So the $1,000 version versus the $800 version is definitely going to be
Bigger deal.
way better as far as mobile gaming and pushing 4K and stuff like that. So if you got the extra $200, I would definitely go for that. But they do have Thunderbolt 3, which is great.
Replaceable lid with customizable RGB LED illumination.
Oh yeah, 3-year warranty. But yeah, basically, there's no point in getting the old Skull Canyon unless they basically slash the price
like crazy.
So you are going to need to add, I think, your own, I think, RAM to the package. I don't think it comes with RAM because it's still like, it says there's two slots. 2 slots. So it doesn't come with RAM, and I don't think it comes with storage either. So you have to add your own RAM and storage.
Okay.
But, you know, still for the package of CPU and GPU and
2 SSD slots.
Yeah, the small package is
out of 3.
It's very, very competitive.
Yeah, that's crazy
for what you get. So very exciting for mobile HTPC, and maybe what if they come out with a super duper Radeon, those GH or GL versions in like a Surface model would be really cool as well.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. Like, I love seeing those little builds of things that you could just like. I could have taken that little guy with me here if I needed to, even though Josh has builds downstairs and upstairs. But like, but if for some reason I was like traveling here and I wanted to have just grab one of these monitors and plug it in and stream from that or something like that.
Yep.
We could have, and which is cool because I could just put that in a carry-on, stuff it in the bag.
Because
they're like this.
What's the wireless on there? I'm sure it's AC automatically included in it.
Yeah, let's look. Networking. Yeah, Intel dual band wireless AC 8265.
So it has up to 867 megabytes per second, which you'll never need. But you know, unless you're a fiber bro.
Could have fiber.
Do you even fiber?
I do not. So lastly, just wanted to throw in a couple cool things that I saw. There's some new camera information. If you're a tech guy and you like videoing and lots of photos, 2 big announcements this week, one from Canon and one from Sony. So the first one here.
Speaking of the microphone.
Yes, hello. Not the actual microphone we're using. We're using it right there. But the first one here, this was pretty crazy for a budget camera. Canon finally did a budget 4K camera. So this is a mirrorless camera. So you are going to get a 1.7 crop, which is, you know, what you deal with. It's going to be 4K at 24 frames. It's capped at 24 frames.
Cinematic, bro.
Cinematic. Yep. It can't do 30 or 60 frames, which some people were wanting. It has a good 20, you know, the sensor looks good, 24 megapixels, but there are a few caveats. It does have a flip out screen, which is exciting. There are a few caveats. The biggest one being is that one of the things that they're so excited for that are so good on Canon are the dual pixel autofocus. Problem is that you lose that and you only get the face detection autofocus when you go to 4K. So you have a much worse autofocus when you switch to 4K. And in some people's opinion, it's not worth it to even shoot at 4K because of how bad the autofocus switches to. So that's the thing that you really lose. Not to mention, apparently it's not that great of a bit rate. I don't know. This article doesn't talk about it. As far as I know, but the bit rate's not that great at 4K. So it's not you're not getting everything you ever hoped for and wanted for, but you do get there's a new version of the RAW file format for pictures. So this is pretty exciting. It's a good step in the right direction is what they're saying. Yeah, the camera reverts to contrast autofocus instead of the dual pixel, which is kind of a bummer. But it looks good. It's small. It's mirrorless. Articulating screen. And that's pretty good. This is a good step for Canon, something that they can get. New image processor. But the other bomb that was dropped was by Sony. I mean, come on. This is a $2,000 A7 III. This says it might mean my GH5 is trash now. This guy's just ticked because this is a full frame sensor for $2,000. It takes a 6K image and downsamples it to 4K. So you get some smooth, crisp 4K. Reportedly, you get 5 new stops of aperture here. You get in-body image stabilization, plus, you know, if your lens has it. So people can't really find any issues with this. You're not going to get an articulating screen. It only flips out towards you. It doesn't flip over the viewfinder, so you can't see yourself unless you're using an external monitor. But this one, we're going to see the things that we need to look for is, does it have decent battery life? What are the bit rates? What's it going to look like? But this is looking crazy.
It just says right here, we'll have the best battery life in a mirrorless digital camera ever. They said it's rated for up to 710 shots on a charge. He said his GH5 is only good for up to 400 shots. So 310 extra shots on one battery. If you are a wedding photographer, this
could be great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So at $2,000, this is crazy hard to beat because the Panasonic GH5 is $2,000 about right now.
Yep.
So this is full frame, crazy good battery life, and better autofocus than the GH5. Oof. This is going to be hard to beat at $2,000. So if you're looking for a really good 4K camera for video, for great photos, unless you want to wait till like the A7R or A7S comes out later, then, you know, this is kind of where you're gonna, man, it's kind of hard to beat here. So yeah, those are the new camera things. If you're looking for a really cheap, I meant to say the Canon camera is only about like $750. So if you can deal with the weird autofocus issues, and maybe you're working in a studio and you can just adjust manual focus, and you want Canon 4K at 24 frames.
It looks like it's maybe small enough to be a decent vlogging camera as well. Mm-hmm. So it still does 1080p at 60, 720 at 120 at 720p.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're a Canon guy, you may want to take a look at it. Go to your local electronics store,
Adorama, BH Photo, if there's something near you.
You may need to go to Best Buy to actually look at it and feel it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But very interesting.
People were checking it out for a vlog camera because at like $750 or just under 800, this could be a nice entry camera. This is like, I have the Panasonic G7, so does Josh. It's very similar to that in how it's going to be running a smaller mirrorless camera. So you will have to deal with some of the crop factors, but having some of those Canon colors and image processing are really great. So that'd be a good thing. But yeah, Josh, any other thoughts, things that you want to tell people about?
Just Discord? Just excited getting involved with Discord and doing some text chat with the friends.
Yeah.
So check out the link in the description. I piggybacked off of Joel's Discord, which is JCH Gaming. So I've got my own section down there for Joshua 14 Gaming.
Yep.
And he's got a few voice channels for if you join his squads for Fortnite. And I'm going to be doing some gaming using that as well. So as if you have any Surface questions, you can throw them there, and I'll be able to get notifications very quickly and get back to you. If you have some major issues, maybe we can help you out. So
yeah,
very, very excited about jumping in that, because that's definitely a very easy platform to use.
Yeah, we'll put the links for Twitch for Josh and myself. We've been Twitch streaming some games. You can check those out below. We're both trying to raise our follower count and get some fun streams happening at you weekly. And then also for YouTube, for Josh, he does Surface Pro gaming videos and some tech giveaways and reviews. And our other brother, Jeremy, who couldn't join us, he had some work meetings, but we'll be back on normal time. Hopefully next week, we'll be able to roll some normal tech talks out on a weekly basis for you. We'll get the three brothers back together, not physically in the same room, But
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
But in our hearts, But thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to check out the links below, and we will check you all in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and keep it classy.